Well, we've spent a lot of time looking back on this tragedy, from how it started to everything that has unraveled over the years. But now we want to look forward because, incredibly, even 10 years later, there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and not just with the memorial and plans to bring it to our community, hopefully within the next year or so, but also within the LGBTQ community at large. There are people who still feel like they have a fight ahead of them. They feel like their community has been erased by politics here in Florida and across the country, and they're coming back to do the work for the LGBTQ community.
The passing years have done little to bring peace to those touched by Pulse. Broken promises and the lack of a proper memorial, a place to mourn and honor the victims and survivors, left many feeling forgotten.
This design really has their fingerprints on it.
The plans aren't finalized yet, but the city-backed permanent memorial appears to be on track for a groundbreaking this fall.
It's supposed to be about unity, about love, for our children.
After 7 months of emotional discussions, the Pulse Memorial Advisory Committee, made up of family members, survivors, and community members, came up with concepts of a design. The committee wanted the final design to include a memorial and reflection space, survivors' commons, private gathering space, angel ellipse site, a healing prism garden, a reflection pool, and visitor pavilion. Now architects and builders are working to bring that design to life.
Grief never ends. Nobody wants to hear that. But it does evolve, and we're trying to make space for that.
At the most recent public meeting, the companies unveiled the latest design renderings, now 60% complete.
We're taking components from the original building. For example, a section of the dance floor itself will be placed at the foundation of the reflecting pool itself to tie it in, to make it personal. We're looking to salvaging much of the concrete work and placing it everywhere throughout the site.
But the plans continue to bring criticism.
How does reusing crime scene materials respect the victims and survivors who bled and died in the restrooms and on the dance floor? Will the reflecting pool include any floorboards permanently stained by blood, or will those be excluded?
We asked the mayor about the pushback from survivors and victims' loved ones.
There's certainly going to be, I wouldn't say there are major changes, but there will be modifications and things. One of the most important things we've done, and our staff has done yeoman's work in terms of they've been able to contact all 49 families to get exactly how they would like the name of their loved one.
Those same opponents of the memorial have also been calling for criminal investigations into the safety of the Pulse nightclub. 2 years ago, they filed police reports with Orlando police. The investigation was closed, citing no reckless disregard for human life or disregard for the safety of others. Then, a year ago, they delivered a deeply researched report to the state attorney's office, hoping for a new investigation. Just last week, Monique Worrell met with the group, telling them there is no case. The evidence does not rise to the threshold to bring charges and win. So now they are asking for the Florida legislature to convene an independent commission, like it did in Parkland, to probe any specific and systematic failures.
I have a lot of lingering questions about how we got to this place. And I think a lot of people do. And for me, it's not about, shame or anything like that. It's about accountability. It's about honesty. It's about transparency. And again, I think healing requires real reconciliation. It requires the hard conversations, the tough questions.
For Pulse survivor Brandon Wolf, 10 years is long enough. He wants to see those conversations happen now with people of power and privilege.
Law enforcement agencies did a review of the processes in place when the Pulse tragedy happened. Their own analysis of what happened showed that they failed on a number of fronts, that their refusal to enter the building for hours got over a dozen people killed, that they're not really sure where all of the bullets went that were fired from their own guns. There are open questions about whether or not their active shooter policy was sufficient. There are open questions about how a man like that could get access to guns like that in the first place, and why those laws never changed in the wake of what happened at Pulse nightclub.
After years of working in Washington, D.C., fighting for LGBTQ equality and gun control, Brandon is bringing that fight back to Orlando, working with Equality Florida.
I think Florida has to be the starting point for what resilience and resistance looks like in this country.
He says accountability isn't just about the past.
This is a community whose DNA has been under assault on every level of government for years now. And I think that means that the fight has matured. I think it means people have really suffered the consequences of the failed leadership of DeSantis and Donald Trump and others. But I don't think the DNA of Orlando has changed. I think it's still the same beautiful community that it always has been. I think people still love each other very much. They're willing to go to bat for each other. And I hope 10 years is a moment to recommit to honoring the people we lost, not just with flags or with pretty colors, but with our actions.
The love and compassion that filled Orlando in the days after Pulse stays with Brandon and gives him faith in the future.
Orlando has that kind of courage in spades. And it is my hope that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people are inspired by our courage to go fight in their own communities.
Through it all, the heart of this story has never changed. 49 people went out to dance and never came home. 10 years later, their names still matter. Their lives still matter. And for many in Orlando, the responsibility to honor them never ends.
We have been covering the tragedy at Pulse since the very beginning, and as we know, that work is far from over. If you were impacted by what happened here in this community, we want you to know we're going to continue to be here for you, for the families, the survivors, and forever for the 49.
For all of us here at WESH 2 and the Chronicle team, thank you for watching.